channel. In today's video, we're going to be installing a Coppin Sting Stage 1 remap kit. So for those of you that don't really know what that is, that's going to be a throttle body, intake manifold, air intake, and a new injector with their tuned computer. The kit's supposed to make around 9.5 horsepower with the aftermarket exhaust. They say it makes that with their Coppin Sting exhaust, but we're going to be doing it with the Two Brothers exhaust, and they said that it should make very similar power. So if we're somewhere around 9 horsepower, we're going to be very thankful, because the kit, before installing the kit, the bike normally puts around 6 rear wheel horsepower with a slick on it. And so with the slick and it dynoed, it should be around 9 horsepower. I'm excited to do it. So we're going to go ahead and strip off all the plastics, the tank, and we'll show you the steps as we go through how to install your Coppin Sting remap kit. All right, guys, I'm going to show you what's in the kit. So this is going to be the new ported intake manifold. I'm going to measure that real quick and show you what it measures. Got a new throttle body, a new injector, the computer that's tuned from them, and then this is going to be the big air intake. All right, so we're going to go ahead, and you also get your instructions as well. So they're very detailed. I don't feel like anybody can mess up with the way they're set up. And they also have some troubleshooting information as well. So first thing I want to do is I want to show you the difference in the throttle bodies. All right, so using this and measuring, I can show you where we're at. You see that 20, but that's one before the actual 20 mark. So we're at 19 millimeters for the stock one. And here we are measuring the Coppin Sting one. And we'll look at our measurements. 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So at 26 millimeters on the Coppin Sting throttle body. So here you can see how much different they actually are. This is all the way ported out. It's kind of velocity ported, and then here's what your stock one looks like. So you're definitely opening up a lot more flow. The intake manifold is also ported to 26 millimeters as well. And then your intake tube is way bigger than stock, and I can show what that looks like once we get it off of the bike, and we'll compare it. But as far as what comes in the kit, that's everything that's there. So we're going to get everything taken off of the bike and we'll get it installed. Step one is to remove the seat, the side shrouds, the front fender. It also says to unbolt the exhaust, but we didn't do that. And you have to unbolt your tank. Make sure not to disconnect the fuel line from the tank. Just leave it connected. And you just kind of move it over to the side and you'll be able to do all your work. Coppin Sting sent this out for us to try. And we're super thankful for the opportunity to be able to do that. And it made me think of this Bible verse right here. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of the heavenly lights, who does not change like shifting shadows. And that's in James chapter 1, verse 17. So I'm just super thankful that we were able to do this, and always thank God for all my blessings, no matter how small or how big they are. I just wanted to share that with you guys. Let's go ahead and check out the next step. Step 2 is to disconnect all 5 electrical connectors from the airbox and throttle body injector. So looking at this, to get a little bit more room, we're going to take this off of here and then just kind of tuck it away. And then so to undo the clip, you need to take just a little flathead screwdriver and you pull that clip back a little bit and then it'll slide off. There it goes. And then there's 3 that are on the other side, so we're going to go around into them. There we go.
There's this one. All right, so.
Try coming around from the other side and see if I can show it. There it goes. So we got 1, 2, 3 on this side. Are the other 2 off on this side?
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So we got them all undone. Step 3 is to remove the airbox and cut down to the second line on the intake tube using a sharp Stanley knife. Use one of the provided hose clamps as a cutting guide. We're going to get this pulled off of here, and then we'll show how to cut that.
Coppin Steam must be sponsored by Stanley.
I know. Undo this.
I'll just pull it out.
Yeah. There we go. Goodness gracious.
Hey, I should have just bought a new one of them.
All right, we got it out of there. All right, so we're gonna take this and slide it up to the second. And then I'm gonna use that just as a guide. I'm gonna tighten it up first. Then we're gonna take our knife.
Stanley knife.
If you don't have a Stanley, you could probably just use a regular razor blade or box blade, but we lucked up and have one, so. Man, this is a funky cut. Hopefully I can clean it up a little bit. There we go. So just run your blade right against the metal, or try to. And keep your fingers back.
In my leg.
Always cut away from yourself. Don't cut towards yourself.
And at this point, if you messed up, it's too late.
All right. All right, so you're gonna take your adapter and put it in there. So check out the opening difference between the stock and the Coppin Sting. So you can tell that this is definitely gonna be putting in a whole lot more air, or allowing a lot more air to come through than this is. The next step is to open your airbox, and what we're gonna do is we're going to take out the Backfire screen, and that's gonna allow your airbox to get more flow. So I'm gonna show you the steps how to do that now. Then we're gonna take this off. once you pull this cover off, what we're going to do is we're going to delete the backfire screen so that the air intake can get more flow. Go!
Oh man.
Man, that might be why we couldn't ride no wheelie while ago, man. We're gonna have to get that cleaned up. Golly. If your filter looks like this, you definitely
should change
need to clean it or change it. So you're gonna fold these back, and then you'll be able to take this out. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna flip this over and we're gonna cut each one of these off.
There's rubber?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna push away from me, so if I cut somebody, it's you, not me.
I'll cut my foot. You can also just buy these, right?
Yes. There are a couple that are made right now. I think all right, so this is what it looks like after you delete this.
You should probably knock some of that dust out of that thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're gonna get this all cleaned up, but this is how it'll end up looking. Once it goes back in there, you'll screw these back in like you normally do, and then your filter will sit just like that. But we're gonna get this cleaned up so that it'll be how it needs to be before we're riding again with the new setup. Step 5 is to disconnect the throttle cable from the throttle body and fuel line from the original injector. So all you do is you'll notice that there is a plastic clip here. You take your flathead and you're gonna put that underneath here, and you're gonna lift up, and then this will come off, and then you can pull this off. Now we're putting a gas can here just in case any fuel comes out. There it went, man. All right, so no fuel is gonna come out of there. We were worried that it was, but it's nothing that comes out of there, so that's a plus. I guess a fuel pump is what pushes that through there, so you don't have to worry about extra fuel coming through there. I do have to get the fuel that's in the tank out because we're gonna be running 93 octane with some VP Madditive octane booster, or this one's just the octane booster. So we're gonna run it. It's supposed to put it up about 5 points. I'm gonna mix it up where it comes up about 3.5. So we're gonna be using just a 2-gallon tank, and we're gonna run I think 1.6 ounces of this. And so that'll put it to where our 93 octane will be 96 or 96.5. So. So as I'm doing this, I'm twisting the throttle so that I can get a little extra slack. There we go. All right, so we got them undone. Next step is going to be to remove the throttle body and the intake manifold, and it says to make sure you don't lose this plastic O-ring gasket plate. And also when you take this off, if it's going to be off for a little while, get you a rag or something and set over it so you don't have to worry about anything getting into your engine. All right, we got one more bolt on the other side. But it's gonna be in place of that, so you need a short. Goodness at the dirt. I said goodness at the dirt. Make sure your throttle body's good and clean around there, because just right then there was dust that came off, so we're gonna make sure this is blowed out. We're gonna try to make sure. It might have blew it in further, but we'll see.
No, well, I was saying we'll pull the spark plug out.
Yeah.
And blow it out again.
Okay, you want to pull some more? All right, so we'll do that. We're gonna pull the spark plug out, and we're gonna blow it out and make sure we didn't get any dirt in there. Hopefully it wasn't much, but that's why we're making this. That's why we're making this video, so that you don't have any issues whenever you're installing the kit.
Depends on if the intake valves open or close.
Yeah. Luckily, we were going to be replacing the piston rings on this bike anyway, so in the future we got a high compression piston coming on, so we won't have to worry about that. Step 7 is to install your injector and mount the new throttle body and manifold set to your engine using the original plastic gasket plate. If you have bought this kit after this video has came out, you won't change to an upgraded injector. You'll just use your stock injector.
I took the injector and I put it plug up into this part. I went ahead and pressed it in first, and then we took the whole thing and we pressed it into this fitting. And now I'm just gonna tighten the screws down and tighten everything up.
The first kits that came out, they had an upgraded injector that was larger, but most of the people in the States were having issues with them, and everybody ran stock injectors, and you'll see that we ended up changing back to the stock injector after this as well. All right, so the new throttle body didn't come with the idle screw or the sensor. So what they told me to do is take the sensor off and put on this one and take the idle screw out. They said that doesn't always happen, but this batch that just came out happened to be missing this. So I'm gonna measure, I'm gonna just give me a point from right here on the edge and just kind of have me a reference point. So we're gonna have that as our reference point. I'm gonna just leave that there. I'm gonna take this out and take this off and put it into the other throttle body. You can also count how many turns you have to screw in the idle screw, and then all you have to do is whenever you put your idle screw in, screw it all the way in, and then just go in reverse of however many turns you had to turn in, and that way you'll have a very close setting for where your idle screw should be set.
All these have been tuned to the factory spec of type.
Step 8, we did this at the same time. It says disconnect the rubber tube for the vacuum sensor from the original manifold and detach the sensor from the mounting plate, and then you bolt the vacuum sensor to the new manifold using the bolt and spacers. That's what this looks like. Right now we don't have it tightened up, but you'll notice where the spacer goes and the bolt and where this is sitting. We have already attached this. You'll notice that the angle on this is different than the stock setup, but this is everything installed. The next step is to reconnect your fuel line, and we've already done that right here. We did that at the same time that we were installing this, and you can do the same as well. It says your throttle cable has 2 cables. I'll show you what that looks like. You've already done, when you took it apart, if you haven't converted yours to a single, you have 2 throttle cables. Now, in order to make these 2 throttle cables work, you have to come back up here and get some slack, because if you don't get the slack, you're not going to be able to make these fit back in here where they're supposed to. Step 10 is to reinstall your airbox and install your new rubber intake hose kit using the aluminum hose clamps to connect to the airbox. I ended up having to go and buy an extra one, and you'll have the actual measurement size on the hose clamps that Coppin sends if you don't happen to have 3. Step 11 is to bolt your tank back on and reconnect all 5 electrical connectors. Earlier in the video, I said that you wouldn't be able to use this, but you actually are able to use it if you just use one bolt, and then you can just pinch this up. Notice that it's sitting right here on that bolt, but you can just pinch it and it will slide all the way back in there and fit fine. And it actually is nice and sturdy, and it protects all that like it's supposed to. Here you can see we got an extra hose clamp. Got the Airbox all the way installed. Got the new freshly oiled filter and clean filter in there. Everything's been connected. We put the new ECU in, and now we're fixing to set the gas tank on here and get it going. Step 12 is actually to put in the new Coppin Sting ECU, which I just showed you that we did. But we still need to put all the plastics on, the seat, etc., and get this thing cranked up. So we're going to do that now. All right, guys, we just cranked the bike up. You can tell the idle's a little low. Let you listen to that. It does have this light on. I have a full gas tank right now, but it says in the instructions that you could have a glitch where the low fuel light stays on. So on this bike it is. They say that it doesn't do that on all the bikes. But what we're going to do is we're going to try to adjust the idle. So going to the right, going to take it down some, and going to the left, it's going to speed it up a little bit. That sounds pretty good.
Definitely feels like a different bike.
It does, you can tell the difference. All right, if the bike sounds like this coming out of the corner, that right there, we got to change that injector. That's supposed to change. That's not supposed to do that. So we're going to try that. All right, so after riding it just a second ago, we tested it with the upgraded injector, and you notice the plug is super dark and sooted up, and it was bogging coming out of a turn. It was kind of blah, 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 blah. But it would speed up once you got the engine RPMs up. It would run really well. But what it says the fix is to put the stock injector in. So we're going to put that stock injector in, and then we'll test it here in just a minute. All right, guys, the stock injector is back in the bike. We're ready to test it out. Before we started this build, we took a set of 4 runs and got the time for how fast the bike accelerated stock. And we're going to see how fast the bike accelerates now with the Coppin Sting kit, and see if it's really worth spending your money and getting this Coppin Sting kit. So let's check it out. Let's see how it performs.
All right, here we go.
So after testing the bike, you can definitely tell that it is a lot faster. You can hear it. Whenever you see that fast, you can tell that it's hitting the rev limiter way before it ever was with the stock setup. So the bike is definitely accelerating quicker. If you look at the average of the times, the bike is actually 0.25 seconds quicker accelerating in that short amount of space. It's probably around 100 foot, and that is a significant difference. The bike overall, from mid to upper RPM range, feels really good. The only thing that I would say that you might notice is that whenever you take off from a standstill, it takes the bike a second to pick up its speed. But as soon as you have just a quarter of a throttle, it's taking off, and it really takes off quick. I was very impressed, and Colby was very impressed with how the bike feels. We let a couple of friends ride the bike, and they felt the same way. It's got a lot of power. It feels good, and overall, when you're riding the bike, it's more fun, and that's what you want, especially as an adult rider. For a kid, it would be a blast because it's got plenty of power for an adult. So for a young kid, it would feel like a rocket ship to them. So if you're thinking about doing this, go ahead and go for it. You're going to like it, I guarantee it. The only negative thing that I've seen is the light is on, but we don't care. We don't care about the light being on at all. Coppin Sting said that from the beginning, that you could possibly have a light show a low fuel light. It doesn't matter, it's just a low fuel light. We're running it, we enjoy it, the bike's awesome, super thankful for this opportunity. I don't think you can go wrong with it. If you got any questions, let us know. We sure appreciate y'all coming to watch today, and look forward to catching you on the next episode.